Alrighty, we are now on final race of round 6. Australia with our Division 3. Couple of new faces in here tonight reserving for us. We have Steven Alvarez. Has not raced with us in a while. Reserving tonight for Alpine. And we have Carl Behrens. Again, another person who hasn't raced in a while. Filling in Clarence seat for tonight. Looking like you're going to have clear weather for the duration. Telemetry is currently showing clear weather for the race. And then with the potential of wet weather at the end of the race session. Something to keep an eye on. Try for this qualifying, short qualifying today. Looks like we have one person already out. Dennis Voss. Taking a look at our current standings. After the, well, what you would call it, fiesta that we had last week with our random Grand Prix at Baku, we had a little bit of a mix-up in the championship order. We actually have Kiwi now, P2 of our Drivers' Championship. Goal with that DNF fell out of our championship. Vera has retaken control, or retaken that top spot for now. A lot of races to go. This is the beginning of the second half of our final season of this game. So, the goals look pretty strong in the practice he had before this session. Just witnessing it myself, so it'll be interesting to see if any of our top D3 drivers actually break into the 16. I think there are at least 4 people in this lobby capable of doing that. If not, the expectation would be something like a 17-1, 17 flat as our goal, but we'll see. A lot of people on outlaps. I believe we have McGinnis getting his first push attempt here for us. We were very squirrely on that exit of turn 1. As we look at some people, we have a couple people on medium tires for their first push attempt. One thing we have seen a lot of up there. One thing we have seen a lot of so far this weekend is a lot of soft medium strategy. Our tire is not the best tire here, and the tire wear isn't super high to where you can actually use it, so some people deciding to go with the balanced tire allocation on mediums on their first stints to save a set of softs for the race. He's taking himself into the final sector. Goldie behind him, and Aston Martin has actually beaten his sector one time by over 10, so we can see and let's have a bit of a snap going on. What is this position? Not wrong. So a little rough flat for him. We hop on board with Roldy. Has already beat both of McGinnis' first sectors here by quite a bit. And we actually have Rigraff on a push lap, pulling out Roldy's sector 1 and sector 2 right behind him. So Roldy will likely put in a solid 18 something for us here. Rigraff might put us into the 17. So once Aaron B-Boy Sim on this video is 19. So 18.5 for Roldy, and then Rigraff come through the final sector here. He actually invalidated, so much for that 18. So does he go into the pits or does he finish for the Delta? He goes into the pits. Solid start, Rigraff, but then a bit of an invalidation, I would assume, at that death chicane, middle sector. Or excuse me, at the beginning of the third sector. Wow. Francis Not a lot expected from him qualifying wise. Stars putting in a 20 point. So a lot of people struggling a little bit on these first push attempts. Let's hop on board here, I believe, with Pratty as he comes into the third sector. This is the next person to finish his lap. So Pratty, Hero already broken purple sector 1 and sector 2 right now. Right on board with Pratty, and we'll hop on with Zafira behind him. We're running into a little bit of traffic you can see on the mini-map. One Mercedes tonight. Pratty actually looks like a pretty solid lap for Pratty. 18.6 puts him in a provisional P2, but Avira is going to be well above that. Purple sector 1 and sector 2. Actually, Garrett has actually beat Avira's sector 1 and 2. So 17.4 for Avira, but Garrett Elder, the Red Bull, has purple sector 1 and 2 again by at least 2 tenths. So we're going to be seeing something like a 17.2 here for Garrett. Let's see. Very conservative there for Garrett through that sector 3. A lot of traffic. Short shift there. Let's see where this puts in. Sector 3. Really slow. Almost a second slower than Avira. So yeah, Garrett goal actually setting a 18 flat. Okay, my telemetry showed valid, but that was a valid lap. But Garrett definitely more than capable of beating that time. As I said, he has the fastest sector 1 and sector 2 by about 2 tenths right now. That sector 3, maybe that traffic really scuffed him up here. We have Alvarez on his first push attempt here. His first race back in quite some time. I'd say almost 3 seasons now at this point. This will be his first race with us on this game. Goes into the grass. It's a really old line, not really useful in this game. Alvarez does in his first qualifying lap. They're off for F1 23. 1 puts him up to P4. So far only one person in the 17. Like I said, Garrett, very, very fast first attempt, but that perspective 3 really cost him. So there he can actually put himself. Kurt Shark, sprint race, our pole sitter and sprint race winner. Last week at Baku on his first push attempt. Shark, I did not finish the feature race at Baku last week. A couple of reserves coming. Alex Krugoat and Madewell. Trying to find some seats for them as they are clearly overqualified for Division 3. Nadewell actually winning Australia here on Saturday in Division 2, so definitely showing that he is well past. Well, has way more pace than Fire Shark. Big lock up there, big slide. Lap and stuff. We'd like it. No purple sectors for him. A little bit off the pace that Garrett had set in those first 2s. We're confident through that third sector. One for lower out of the gate for him. Yeah, Rigraff, I think. Finishing his first valid attempt. He's still valid here. No purple sectors for him, but solid times. Where does this put him? 1. That puts him into P3. So times are definitely a little bit higher than I was anticipating. Still a lot of time left in this session, so we should have at least more push laps from most of the grid here. Before we actually see where we go. So Chonk cutting through that middle sector, about to cross that sector 3 line. Let's see how far up he is on his own time. 4, so it's about 2 tenths up. Still well away from being in those 17s. For him, a very, very comfortable starting spot. Final 2 corners. Talk a little bit too much on the inside, right into the grass, causing him to cancel that lap for him. Of a broken wing, up to go all around the track one more time. The box. Hey, push it. J Street setting a 1 minute 45-second lap time here. Not gonna do much for him. In the box. Currently pushing on our time for our second push attempt, so he may have invalidated it first, or he can sat the first and out. Right now, solid. This actually maybe potentially our second driver in the 17th sector time correctly. What he does in this third sector. Late rotation and in the box. Definitely. Let's see. Not quite 17, really close. So originally P3 for man in the box is an 18.021. Goal on a push lap. Just shows purple, but is not a purple sector 2. Very close. So about half a tenth off of Garrett's sector 2 time. Control as he goes through final sector here. Final 2 corners. He's going to run into a little bit of traffic here. Looks like an Alpine. In front of him is starting a lap. A little unlucky for Cole there. Will he lose any time? So let's take a look. Get a bit of a tow here. 17.7. 2.5 tenths improvement, but still well off pole. Garrett Elder has spun going through the dash chicane in sector 3. That is his second attempt done with. Avira going into that chicane that caused Garrett. Garrett needs to move or he's going to get disqualified. Avira beat Garrett sector 1, purple sector 1, so he's going to improve here a solid amount. Improves by about a tenth and a half, so now to 17.2. Garrett invalidated. We have Steven Alvarez finishing his second push attempt. A lot of traffic. I believe an AlphaTauri in front of him is on a push lap. Steven Alvarez spins going into the ultimate corner. So no improvement for him for his second stint. We still have a little bit of time left. Kiwi leaded are currently P2 in our championship, team 4 through his second stint. A Street just finished pits now. Oh. Aaron Green just finishing his laps. New Francis finished the laps. Dirt Shark leaded his lap. Stars. No one currently on a push lap. We have Pratty going to be the first one out for this. Those key action there. Yeah, well, Pratty, the only person on a push lap at the moment. No crashing for Pratty. Just suffered from lots of aim issues, crashes, as I said, a qualifying lap or session flops over. So hopefully survive this session, have a clean pace for once, because the pace has definitely improved throughout this season. Pratty approaches the sector 3 line before we go into this next one. See how much he is up on his. For 2 tenths up, so Pratty potentially putting himself running for the top 7 here. More corners here for Pratty. Let's see, can he improve even more than that? Understeer through that final corner, but he nails it, so he's going to set a new time here. Dirt Shark. So 18.1 puts Pratty into the top 5, so almost a 6/10 improvement, so very well done from Pratty there. Dirt Shark, I believe, is pushing. No, he is not. He has no battery, no Very strong final attempt for Pratty here, but again, a lot of time left to drop off, and a lot of people yet to do their final attempt. Kershaw coming into the pits really late for his final push. Here, I believe I just saw go out of the pits. Up two. Garrett is man in the box is coming out of the pits right now. But he realized that that car was not on a push. He's getting out of his way. I don't know why man in the box is getting out of everyone's way. Whatever. Let's see. Doesn't like anyone's pushing. Pratty coming in. We have an Alfa Romeo of J Street. Even Alvarez just beginning a lineup. Run into some traffic here as he's way out of sync. Garrett Elder in the Red Bull in front of him. Too late to get out of his way, and he invalidates. So Steven Alvarez clearly not happy about that. His fuel light is not on, so it's like Alvarez may have another opportunity to go again. Still over a minute left in the session. We're at 1 minute and 5 seconds right now left in the session. Sides to give enough. As we go again, and then half spins. That's well unfortunate for him. But we have Joel and Rigraff going on their final attempts. Ooh, that was like the Aston Martin of Roldy got disqualified for spinning, I guess, going the wrong way. Big lockup from Rigraff there to turn 4, so that's not going to help him improve. Right on with Joel, because Joel had to run into that also. Roldy being parked spinning on the exit of turn 2. Joel is up a little on his time, but very awkward turn 6 there, a little bit of lag. Alvarez has retired from the session. End of the box up 2/10 on his sector 1, so fighting to stay free as that P1 time is so far out there. Rivera about even on his pole time right now. Back at this AlphaTauri, he's trying to get out of his way. See, what is Rivera? Does he improve? Does he stay the same? 17-0, so right there, 267. So Joel has man in the box actually jumping 17-4, so a huge improvement for man in the box. And Chonk actually jumps in front of Joel also. Garrett Elder invalidated his final attempt, so he's going to start well behind where he would like to. Man in the box, the last pick in D3 currently sitting in qualifying, and that is it for our session. That is it. Golding being disqualified for said driving the wrong way. We did see him get spun around in turn 2. Big surprise there, man in the box. P2 with a 17-4. Rivera taking care of business like usual, on pole by quite a bit. Definitely a bit of a surprise for the amount of 17, 5 people. Definitely expected more than that. On. 1. So again, I believe the telemetry still shows. Leave the telemetry. All right, as we wait for everyone to telemetry. Yeah, like we saw in qualifying, it looks like the race going to be looking potential for rain at the end of the session. Usually that late, we never swap tires, wet weather tires. Finally, here we go, everyone. We lights out, and here we are. Vera coming off the line really well into the box. Joel actually overtaking Chonk going into turn 1 side by side. Joel, oh, Joel goes into the wall. Absolutely, he's going to have wing damage after that. So, very nice start from Joel. He sets the track. Don't blame him there at all. Dirt Shark falling down the order a little bit too big sin on stars here in the turn. Vera actually falling down, so Vera had a bit of an issue there. So man in the box actually takes the lead here. The lead of the race here. Excuse me, while Steven Alvarez. Oh, that's a Haas of Kagenis. We have a VSC now, so the Haas of Kagenis going into the wall there and losing his front wing without the virtual safety car, and we see a bit of an odd traffic jam. Try to sort out who's in front of whom. That delta on their dashboard. So that's 2 people, looks like, with wing damage. Joel actually somehow does not have wing damage, so I don't know what kind of hacks he's running, but definitely should ask him, because he went into the wall, didn't suffer any damage. 12 our VSC. We'll bring up our tire information here now. So we see everyone except for Rigraff currently in the top 6 on softs. Rigraff on the medium tire. What will he be able to do to stick with these soft runners? Let's see the other 2 races so far that there's a big delta between soft tires and the hard tires, particularly early on in the race. Here green flags again. Man in the box leads us out of this first VSC into lap 2. Jared Elder has done a good job of putting himself up into P6. So everyone behind him except for Carl and Joel are not on soft tires. Let's see, again, like we mentioned, what will Rigraff be able to do with these cars? Will we be able to keep up with Avira? Avira already putting a lot of pressure on Chonkin. Chonk is losing a lot of time to man in the box. Avira going very, very deep. Corner exit there. Here towards the back, we have Carl, who is like one of those soft tire runners, but not qualify well. There we see our strategy expectations. So about lap 12, we should start seeing the soft runners pit. Battle between Carl, Dirt Shark, and A Street. Dirt Shark actually getting in front of Carl. Carl going wide that Mexican sector. Carl almost going right in the back of Dirt Shark, not being nearly enough aggressive on those brakes. As DRS becomes available, we have seen Rigraff lose a lot of time to Kira here, but with no threat behind, Pratty did a good job at 6 right now. They're right on the back of Chong. In the box. Really good job as our race leader right now. Over 2-second gap, 2.2. There should make easy overtake on Chong here. Really close behind. We'll have DRS 2 times here. We get him through for this corner. Yes, he absolutely will. We'll have DRS once more to close that gap to the lead of the race. That is currently being led by Man in the Box. Back here towards the back, a really close battle for P10 led by J Street right now. Looks like Dirt Shark's going to try to make a move on J Street going in this final corner. Does have DRS. J Street just kind of at the mercy of that DRS. All 3 drivers losing a little bit of time to the cars in front. Stars still in this fight also. And Carl getting really close to that car in front of him. Ooh, we see Stars. Big snap there for Stars. Lots of fastest laps being set there. Oh, basically bump drafting J Street here into turn 1, overtaking Dirt Shark. Dirt Shark having no DRS there and getting blown up by both of these drivers. Again, no DRS for Dirt Shark, so Carl's going to be able to hold on to this position. Being on the inside. Dirt Shark sending it around the outside, doing a good job of keeping it valid here. Careful here, guys, with this. You go off track, you get 3 seconds just like that. Carl gets 3 seconds. We have a yellow flag here, so somebody, bit of a spin. Looks like Garrett Elder, actually. Big collision with Team. Garrett Elder looks like he has retired. Like he retired on track because I don't feel any damage on his car, so. Elder not doing Red Bull any favors. Excuse me, Garrett Elder actually did crash out. That does bring out a safety car, so Garrett Elder he's out of the race. He was in a solid position in the top 10. Oh, he is out, so no points for him. Into the box from the race lead, goes into the pit lane and immediately speeds, so that's going to hurt him towards the end of this race. Honk deciding to stay out. Very odd call by being on stops and not pitting there. Definitely not the right call. You're going to mediums this early in the race may be a little bit too ambitious, but they may be deciding to hit the box going on the hards, which go to the end. With another safety car, he will likely end up having to serve that 5-second time penalty. And looking at these penalties, Man in the Box with that 5-second speeding in the pit lane penalty, definitely going to hurt his chances of winning the race. He was doing such a good job before the safety car came out, caused by, looks like his teammate being crashed. His fault or not. Undetermined at this time. Steven Alvarez and Carl just going a little bit too deep at turn 4. Saw it for pretty much both of them. If you go a little bit too deep over that curve at turn 4, they can automatically give you a 2-second time penalty. So it is showing quite a few warnings for Steven Alvarez right now, so he's close to getting it. Yeah, Pagenis well in the back, so we'll have at least one more lap behind the safety car before it restarts. Either end at 6 or end at 7 when we start this race. Colin Pratty not deciding to pit, so a little questionable from them. And on the soft tires, so they're committed to their normal strategy, or they're expecting another safety car at some point. But regardless, they're going to be out of track position. We'll have to pit before everyone else. Unless, we get another safety car, lap or 2 from that. the restart here. Taking a look at this again, we have Rigraff staying out on the hards. We have Gronk and Pratty on the soft tires. We have Steven Alvarez staying out on the hards as well. Snoop Francis stayed out on medium. So 5 people deciding not to pit. The rest of the field has pit. Good mix of hards and tires. We have 1 extra hard tire than we do tire for the rest. What this race does is we have these 5 drivers who are out of the net lead, as they have not pit. Puts Dirt Shark and J Street into really nice positions to potentially fight for the race win. They are net P3 and 4. So Bull is well back in the field, but with the safety car, it puts him back in the race after his lap 1 adventure into the wall. So Chonk, who restarted quite a few has restarted quite a few safety cars in the last few races, will be restarting our first safety car. B-Boy Simba actually crashing into the back of Joel back here. No damage for either of them, but he does give himself a 5-second time penalty. So that's unfortunate for Aaron. Back up towards the front. Right on board with Pratty here, also on these soft tires. See, Chonk decides to go. He's going really late. There he goes. Looks like Alvarez may have got a good jump here on Pratty. A lot of old tires here, so man in the box will be the first one on new tires. Not the greatest jump. Alvarez looking, really wants to make a move here. Oh, he almost drives into the back of him. Very heavy on the brakes there. Looks like he is going to get this move done to turn 4. Yeah, he does get the move done, and now we have Snoop Francis under attack from man in the box. Actually, man in the box, bit of a gap between him and Snoop Francis, and Avira is really close to man in the box. You may see him try to dump battery as we go into sector 3 here. Maybe try to make a move here. Very big run. We see that him just sticking that battery outside here. Is going to be going around the outside here. It's very difficult to make the overtake stick. The box also having to dump a lot of battery. He knows that Avira wants that position, but using way too much battery before he he's even overtaking a single car here. Close to hitting the back of Snoop. Like we've seen before, right on the gearbox of J Street, this final sector. Be this close. Hopefully he doesn't go too deep, but he's done a really good job of sticking really close. Really nice run he has on J Street here. Fresh mediums definitely should have a little bit more pace in these hards. So he's going to back out going into turn 1. Rigraff on these hards. Steven Alvarez looks like these hards are definitely better race tire than these softs now. And the big issue is at some point they're going to have to pit, and all these people on fresh tires inherit the lead of the race. So man in the box still using a lot of battery. Avira a little more disciplined now. Battery reach in here is pretty decent compared to a lot of tracks that we have done. Again, Carl and J Street just so close to each other. Carl dumping his entire battery trying to get past J Street. Definitely feels like he has the pace to get past, but again, he backs out. A little bit of a switchback here as we go into Sector 3. Finally gets that move done, and Avira actually getting past man in the box here for our net lead. Bit of a very close race so far. Only one place. We're over a second in terms of interval. Ooh, Snoop Francis kind of bumping in the back of Pratty there. Pratty may have had an issue with his brakes. Oh, and Pratty hits the back of Rigraff, and he goes around taking him and Snoop with him. But man in the box slowed down too, because now Dirt Shark is making a move around man in the box. So a lot of stuff happening there with Pratty and Snoop Francis. Pratty falling all the way down to P15, and he still has yet to pit. So really unfortunate position for him now. J Street actually getting back in front of Carl here. A lot of stuff happening here because we have Joel on the butt of Carl, and he's actually taking the position. Oh, he backed out, so we have a little bit of an Alfa Romeo sandwich between J Street, Carl, and Joel. Carl being meat in the sandwich right now. Navira, we see already gapping man in the box by over a second. So Navira showing some really strong pace. Carl letting Joel through there, clearly deciding not to battle him in the way he was battling J Street. Avira overtaking Rigraph going into this final sector. Dirt Shark getting past man in the box. So again, Avira building up quite a gap to the rest of these pitted cars. Again, he is on these mediums, so it's a long way to go on these mediums if he intends to not pit. Dirt Shark looks like he's going to be trying to close that gap, get back in the fight with Avira. We saw in D1 yesterday that even though those mediums were stronger at the end of the race, they were very, very rough and really close to puncture territory. Quite a few people in the pits here. Goldie, who has already pit in the pits for some reason, out on old hard, so I'm not sure what's happening here. Snoop Francis on fresh hards, Pratty on the fresh medium, so a long way to go, but they can own undercut. If the rest of the field intends to pit one more time this race, they may wind up being in front of them by a decent margin. We'll get to that point. Vera passing Chonk, going for a move on Steven Alvarez. He goes into the wall there, being overtaken again by Chonk. He lost himself there, going into the wall. No damage for him. The Dirt Shark really close to getting in that DRS window of Rigraph, getting himself back in this lead train. Back towards here, looks like a Kiwi, a big move on Stars going into this final sector. On have DRS on this pit straight. Yellow flag somewhere. Looks like we have another safety car. Looks like Pratty actually. Oh, Pratty went through the dash chicane and died. So Pratty, who was having such a solid race, he had a bit of an incident with Snoop Francis just a couple of laps ago, has crashed out of the race and caused another safety car. So everyone who had just recently pit is in trouble. But the big thing here is Steven Alvarez able to get through the safety car, not be blocked by the safety car. So even though he does have penalties, he will be able to pit from this point in the race. And I'd imagine Avira will pit also. I would imagine almost everyone should pit. If you have an extra set of mediums, you just get that extra set of mediums. Stu Francis has 2 drive-through penalties now. So, but his race is basically doomed, regardless of what happens. 2 drive-through penalties should basically get you. Well, there's 3 drive-through penalties. I guess he's just trying to see how many it takes for him to get disqualified at this point. There it is. He was disqualified. Like oh no, he's just watching his thing. Francis with 3 drive-through penalties, so we will get him at some point. Should see Alvarez go into the pits. He has not pit yet. At this point, you can go to the end on any tire except for softs. So we'll absolutely have fresh mediums here and switch on to. Dirt Shark, actually. Oh, let's go again. Rigraph deciding to stay out. Definitely a questionable. He has yet to pit, so I'm not sure what Rigraph decided to do there. I mean, even Alvarez is in front of him, so he would have had a double stack, but now we've had 2 safety cars, and Rigraph has yet to pit, so. And Joel actually staying out. That's another questionable call. I'm assuming these guys don't have any extra medium tires if they're deciding not to stay out, but Joel hasn't used his hard tires. He can go to the end on hards. Joel is already at just under 20% on his tires, so I don't possibly make it to the end, but it's not going to be very comfortable, particularly with Avira, who's only 2 positions behind him in P7 on fresh hards. And Dirt Shark and J Street and Kiwi all in fresh mediums, as well as Steven Alvarez. So this is definitely one of those moments where you probably should have just stuck with the double stack. Now you're just in a really dangerous position, but you have tattoo safety cars in the first half of the race, so there's always potential for another one. I believe we have seen at least one VSC and 2 safety cars, so should have at least 2 more able to be deployed. A little review here while we're waiting. Carl with 6 seconds of time penalties. That shows him with 6 warnings, so those are just track limit warnings for Carl. Steven Alvarez with a 3-second time penalty. That is for going deep at turn 4. Same thing, I believe, with Aaron. No, Aaron Green, track limit. Seconds of penalty. And then Stu Francis, I believe, with 3 drive-through penalties. We'll have fun driving through the pits 3 times. Safety car restarts. But even with Steven Alvarez having this penalty, having these fresh tires, if he can start making moves really quickly, maybe able to build a gap before the rest of the field of Chonk of Vera actually. He, I believe, just decided. Not sure what happened there. This was behind the safety car. Got a bit of a spin. As I was saying, Steven Alvarez, our net race lead right now, electing not to pit under the first safety car, to pit under the second one, but he does have penalties. We'll see what kind of gap he'll be able to pull here. Get this race underway. So everyone in the race has pit. One who's still in the race, Jared Alder, I believe, crashed after 3. Graf is the only driver to not have pit, so he will be restarting the race in P1. 12 lap old hard, so this is going to definitely be a challenge for Rigraff to keep everyone behind him. He does have 3 people on old tires behind him. Not worst call. Did see man in the box serve as penalty, but man in the box, after serving that penalty behind the safety car, puts him down into P11, but he does have fresh tires. The right pace. Be able to put himself back into a nice position. Back up towards the front. We'll ride on board here, I believe, with Stars. Actually, let's ride on board here with Steven Alvarez. He's our first person with new tires. There we go. His teammate Rigraff has decided to go. Honk having a bit of a jump on Steven Alvarez. So let's see. Does Honk make a move? Yeah, it looks like Steven Alvarez going defensive. A little bit of a double move there. Honk ghosting. Almost being thrown off the track, but no incident actually resulting from that. But Avira now send it into turn 3. See Stars making a move on Carl into turn 3 as well in front of them. Steven Alvarez going around the outside of Carl. Now Avira up into this fight, but Avira following Steven Alvarez through the field on these fresh tires. Rigraff and Joel, because of all that battling between that we saw just a moment ago, Rigraff and Joel are pulling away. Avira getting in front of Carl. There's clearly no Mercedes sandbagging happening right here. It's a joke. Now Steven Alvarez looks like he's going to make a move on Stars going into... Looks like man in the box may have had an issue. Man in the box, no wing damage, but he did go off the track, so he's... Again, it's behind him, also went off track. Still no damage from either driver. That's going to hurt their race here. Chonk making a move on J Street, getting in front of him. Joel taking the lead of this race, but again, he's on significantly older tires than Avira and Steven Alvarez. Vera going really deep into turn 1. Likely got himself a track limit one. Car's really close behind Avira. See Avira in front of Stars here. Making a move on Rigraph, so these old tires are just hurting way too much for Rigraph. Carl actually holding his position in front of Stars. Avira just outside of a second of that DRS into Steven Alvarez. And imagine Steven Alvarez pushing pretty hard. Knows if he can clear Joel with a time interval bigger than 1 second, he has an opportunity to pull a gap. Shark actually being overtaken by several cars this lap, so these old hards are just really struggling right now. A lot of understeer, a lot of slidey there from Stars. J Street's coming really soon also, very deep from Stars. Into the penultimate corner, bit of a wiggle there from Chonk. Chonk very laggy. Stu Francis left the session. Well, has probably like 12 drive-through penalties to serve. Steven Alvarez pushing really hard, Joel pushing really hard, Avira having to push hard too. You're already pulling a gap to Rigraph on these ancient hard tires. Guinness, who is alone towards the back here, picking up a time penalty. Boldy actually getting by Aaron Green and AlphaTauri. Avira just outside that DRS. Guinness with another penalty, actually spinning and then retiring. Like, that caused a safety car, so Guinness actually crashed into the wall. So now Joel from the race lead will have an opportunity to pit. I would imagine he will be going to soft tires here. I would imagine that most of these people actually stay out. So Rigraph will finally have the opportunity to pit. But considering the amount of newer tires behind him, he'll probably lose quite a few places. But it does give Man in the Box an opportunity to come back, as he was well behind the rest of the field after spinning on that first lap after the safety car restart. Let's see, Gold staying out. That's a strategy. Vera staying out as predicted. Steven Alvarez staying out. So we have J Street, we have Carl who decided to pit. J Street putting on softs. You can definitely go to the end on softs. I mean, the strategy, default strategy here is about 12 laps on softs, the rest of the race on medium. So we'll likely not restart the race until the end of 18 at the earliest. Soft tires will definitely be really strong. One person putting on those softs, so not even Man in the Box fighting to pit here. Now the tables have turned. Rigraph was on those old tires. Carl was on those old tires. Now they're on new tires. Rigraph still with no penalty. The potential to inherit quite a bit here at the end of this race, barring one more safety car. So we still have the potential for one more safety car or BSC, depending on what gets deployed. I'm sure Steven Alvarez, with that 3-second time penalty, is not super happy about having the grid bunch back up to him. But see, so we're looking at this. Lots and lots of mediums. Avira is the only one on hards all the way down to Snoop Francis. I believe still has a drive-through penalty. So yeah, so that kind of is a lesson, kids. Don't get three drive-through penalties behind the safety car, because the rest of the race is not going to be very fun. No doubt go through one more safety car lap. Will we see somebody else dive into the pits? Does not look like it. Maybe it's Snoop Francis. Okage will be back. No, they do not. So Roldy's staying out on those older mediums. See how this flips. Looking at the tire wear percentages, Joel is up to 30%, over 30%, whereas the people behind him, like Steven Alvarez, telemetry lost, so I can't that, but we'll look at Dirt Shark as our reference, 12%. So Joel is well past that 25% fall off compared to a bunch of mediums who are not even close to that. Look at someone like Rigraff who's on fresh medium, just under 2% tire wear. So Joel at the end of this race is going to really be struggling. Whoever told him to not pit, whatever decision he decided to make to not pit and put on fresh tires, definitely going to come back to bite him at the end of the race. Those other old medium tire runners looking at to be anywhere from about 12 to 17%. He's on the upper end of that, as well as the 17% with Honk and Dirt Shark. Lower than but back up towards the front. We'll have Joel restarting the safety car, or restarting the race here from behind the safety car. 8 people on old tires compared to everyone after them on fresher tires, with the exception of Goldie and Snoop Francis has that drive-through penalty. So let's ride on board here with Dirt Shark, and let's see what this action is going to look like at this part of the safety car. Joel with a big weave. And it's not going. There he goes, really, really late, right in front of the line. And he gets Avira napping. It looks like Dirt Shark may have an opportunity here. Oh no, Dirt Shark into the grass, so he spins. Now man in the box up here, a bit of a weird moment between him and Kiwi. We still have yellow flags, no safety car or anything. Now Carl up in front of we have more yellow flags. Stars retired, so he's out. J Street's back here, also slow. J Street with no front wing, so a lot of stuff happening back here towards the back. But Joel already being potentially being overtaken by Steven Alvarez. We're going really deep in that corner. I'm not sure if we got a penalty there, but or a time limit warning. But the big thing here is Rigraff, actually a big gap between him, so a lot of time for him to make up, to catch up with these leaders. Joel able to hold on to the position in front of Steven Alvarez for now. Alvarez really close to the back of Joel. Honk overtaking man in the box. Back here, so Rigraff still, like I said, a lot of time to go to catch up with these old tire runners. Steven Alvarez making a move here. Oh, big tap from him and Joel. Joel goes into the wall. Steven Alvarez keeps going. Kiwi takes the lead of the race now. So Steven Alvarez getting back in front. Joel falling all the way down to P6 on these ancient medium tires. So Chonk kind of sitting in on Avira there, actually holding his position. I think Avira may have tried to make a move there. Rigraff, looks like Joel going into the pits. You realize, yeah, this isn't happening. Also, he has a little bit of front wing damage, so he's going to repair that. And so not pitting behind the last safety car definitely hurt him there, but we in the lead of our race here. Rigraff, the first person on these newer tires to kind of break into the top 7, but that's just because Joel pit here. Rigraff is now in the DRS, so he's going to be in the fight. So the big thing here now is, as we look at the sky, it's getting a lot darker. So let me pull up our telemetry here. See, we are actually, you're showing rain in 12 minutes, so the race should be just about over by the time this rain comes out. But Rigraff in a really nice spot to potentially start making some moves here. He has significantly better tires than everyone in front of him. Will for the rest of the race. Carl kind of taking the grass there to get in front of Dirt Shark, making that move stick. We see from the perspective of Aaron Green. Goldie actually doing a good job of getting himself back in the top 10 here within the DRS of this train, but a big gap between Carl and Rigraff to the lead train here. Kiwi still leading our race here. Not a lot of battery. Here our championship leader all the way down to P4, but a lot of laps to go. Anything can happen from this point. Man in the box, who was our race lead at the start, and through our first safety car. Back inside the top 5, but now Rigraff is looking to try to make a move here. Carl setting the fastest lap of the race here. France is actually clearing all of this drive-through penalties. So now Francis coming out of the pits in front of Joel here, way back in the back. The lights just getting dimmer and dimmer. That rain getting closer and closer. So there's a potential of rain. It's going up and up and up over the next 10 minutes. Even Alvarez looks like he's going to try to make a move happen here. Will absolutely get this move done. DRS doing a lot for him. Getting really close to the back of Kiwi. So now Vera, Chonk, and Kiwi all vying for the race lead here. Oh, and Man in the Box gets a time penalty, so it'll likely take him out of the contention for the race win. He is also outside of that DRS of Rigraff in front of him. Actually, he caught up with Rigraff there, so something odd happened there. Big amount of delta that he just dropped in front to Rigraff. So we have a train all the way down to P7, but 3 people in this train do have time penalties. Steven Alvarez just going to do his best to try to dump his entire battery, pull a bit of a gap, and try to clear 3 whole seconds to the rest of the field. Already is over a second to Kiwi. Kiwi, who has not a lot of battery left compared to the people behind him. Rigraff with not a lot of battery here. Carl actually overtaking Man in the Box back here going into turn 3. And the box was looking so good. These old tires are just not helping him now. Bull setting the fastest lap on new mediums back here. Oh, it's already raining now. Okay, so telemetry never knows what it's talking about. We are raining now, so how quickly will it get wet here? He's going to struggle. Chonk making a move here on Kiwi with the DRS. Kiwi does have DRS also, but Chonk just having so much more overspeed. And now Vera making a move also. So Vera coming out in front of both of them going into our third sector. Going really deep and spins. Vera, no, he's out. That's going to cause a safety car, isn't it? No safety car. A championship leader crashes out on lap 27, on lap 22. The rain comes out and Vera crashes out. Oh no. Now Alvarez back in the lead. The rain is coming out, so now who the heck knows what's going to happen with our championship leader crashing out on lap 22. Oh, there goes Rigraff. Rigraff is out too. Wait, no, now Rigraff is out. No, still no safety cars, so maybe we must have hit the maximum amount of safety cars. Now Carl in P4, Dirt Shark into the pits. It looks like he ran into Rigraff and caused him a DNF, so that's 2 people out. 2 of our championship leaders out in the same lap as the rain comes out. So now Chonk and Steven Alvarez and Kiwi fighting for the lead of the race here. Steven Alvarez again still has that 3-second time penalty. Chonk, no penalties for him, but he is sitting at 2 warnings. Carl, I believe, is sitting at 7 warnings. I'm not sure how far away he is from another penalty here. It's hard to say. Dirt Shark actually going on to intermediates. It's just way too early for that. Don't even see any wetness on the track, but it may be a desperation move as he had to replace his front wing from after that incident with Rigraff. Kiwi desperate to get back in the DRS. Oh, he does have DRS of Chonk. Chonk actually taking the lead of our race going into Sector 3, so him and Steven Alvarez just ghosting into each other. So Kiwi's still in it. We still have DRS still activated. We don't see the wet. The track is not wet at all. Let's look at these penalties. Oh, we have an opportunity here. 6 seconds for Carl, 6 seconds for Aaron Green, seconds for everyone else. Carl, on these fresh set of mediums, going to put himself into the battle for the positional lead of the race as Steven Alvarez is going to overtake Chonk going into turn 1 here as we begin lap 24. Still don't see a lot of rain. We're still nowhere near intermediate tire weather, so if we hold on here with Kiwi, we're still about almost 2 seconds away from our current tires to intermediates being quicker. Still not very wet, so as the current state of things, not be seeing any intermediate tires outside of Dirt Shark until the end of this race. So we see Dirt Shark actually lead behind Joel. Intermediate tires are definitely not working now. Carl, fun fact, Mercedes tried to replace Leo Hudson with Carl. Week leading up to this race, but the team principals voted that down as Carl was not replacement. Second Mercedes pick. Carl making big use of these fresher medium tires. That 5-lap difference is probably making a big difference. And Steven Alvarez pitting. What? Again, we're not even close to intermediate, so Steven Alvarez just takes himself out of the potential win. Yeah, we're still over a second. We're still a second and a half slower on those old tire compared to these old mediums. We are not even close to intermediate. Big gamble for Steven Alvarez here, who knew he may not be able to create a gap big enough to win the race. So just taking a Hail Mary opportunity here. As Chonk leads us to lap 25 in the lead, Carl behind him on fresher tires, but with 6 seconds of time penalty. Kiwi close behind them. Big gap between man in the box, P3. So it looks like everyone is outside of that podium, that battle for a podium, depending on if anyone spins or crashes out. We've already seen 2 people as soon as the rain started. We saw Vera, our championship leader, Rigraff, who I believe in our championship, both crashing out on lap 22. I see Kiwi go in for intermediates, so intermediates are getting really close. It's getting wetter and wetter. The intermediates are only about 9/10 slower than his current medium tires. So this is another big gamble because everyone else is going to have to pit, and he's going to have to close a lot of time in just 3 laps. Chonk now healthily in the lead, so Carl actually had a big moment and lost a lot of time. Carl actually has no front wing, so now Chonk, 10 seconds. There's a 10-second gap to the next closest car, so Chonk, he just can, as long as it doesn't get too wet, he's just going to bring it home, take our race win. And in the box, actually now in the potential position to get a podium. But looking at his tires, new intermediates are still slower. Carl just have to do this whole lap. He's going to lose so much time having to do this entire lap with no front wing. Carl in a really nice spot to potentially get a podium. Likely have to pit here and no longer be that position. So Kiwi actually coming out right behind Steven Alvarez on these fresh intermediates, with Joel behind him on these old mediums. But again, Joel's tires are over a second faster than these intermediates. So now actually Joel is in position to go for a potential podium after spinning out after an incident with Steven Alvarez from the race lead after the safety car restart. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see. Just building more and more time to man in the box. We're just not even close to intermediate weather right now. One thing we're going to be seeing is Steven and Keith's tires are probably going to be overheating. Cole is just going to be able to actually make some moves happen. But let's see. Steven Alvarez getting in front of Carl. Is Carl having a pit with that broken wing? Steven Alvarez back in the potential fight for a podium. Man in the box back up here in the fight for a podium also. These penalties. 3 seconds for man in the box. 3 seconds for Steven Alvarez. Yellow flag somewhere. That's actually Roldy that maybe spun around. Not Roldy, that's Dirt Shark. Looks like he spun on intermediate tires around the final corner. Lost a lot of time there. Puts his teammate actually up in the top 6. Oh, wait, who is that? Is that Steven Alvarez? Resets the track. He went into the wall, so big issue with those intermediate tires there. Now battle between for the final podium spot between Joel and Kiwi with 2.5 laps to go. Will these intermediate tires hold off Joel on these older mediums? So far, Chonk having no problem going to drive to the end here. But actually, Kiwi now fighting for P2 because he's within that 3-second delta of man in the box. So these new inters are doing work for him right now. It looks like on that lap, so even for man in the box, he's actually driving slower than intermediate tires would right now. But this last lap for man in the box, or these last 2 laps for man in the box, are really going to be a struggle. Also, same thing for Joel. So these intermediate tires are actually starting to kick in. So right when these intermediate tires kick in, Steven Alvarez has this big moment and crashes. He's starting to stay out with no front wing. Joel still with DRS. We still don't have DRS disabled, so we're still kind of in that crossover point. Even though telemetry is showing that, well, at least for Joel, his tires are still even with fresh enter. Joel can still battle here with Kiwi. Now Kiwi will have DRS from man in the box in front of him. Man in the box, you've already seen, losing time to Chonk in front, so man in the box is not having a great time in the position. Joel is well behind both of them, so Kiwi looks like he's going to easily overtake man in the box here going into Sector 3. And that puts Kiwi into P2 on track, and with man in the box's penalty, that has Joel on the podium. Joel desperate for more points here to try to maximize the loss of both Rigraff and Avira earlier on in the race. But one thing, though, is with Kiwi in P2, he's going to inherit the lead of our championship and finish the race here. Chonk Chonk beginning the final lap of our race. You can see the track getting so wet. There's no way Kiwi's going to be able to close 15 seconds, but now Joel going for a move on man in the box. Looks like he's going to get that done, but with that penalty, it's hard for man in the box to do anything else. We still have Stephen Alvarez, I believe, driving with no front wing. As we fire our final lap for him and Roldy. See, let's ride him over with Chonk. Let's see if he can keep it clean. The track is getting really, really wet. Heading up to the corner, we've lost two of our championship contenders of Rigraff and Avira. Roldy actually getting in front of Stephen Alvarez out there. Stephen Alvarez, who is driving with no front wing. Let's see, I imagine Chonk's going to take this really conservatively. Gap behind him. Very smooth for Chonk there. So Chonk, 3 more corners to go. Track getting really, really wet. Intermediates are almost 2 seconds faster than him right now. See, oh, big lag Chonk there. But we see Joel. A lot of time to Kiwi flying right now on these intermediate tires. Definitely the better tire as we finish this race. But Chonk, for I believe the first time in his CRL career, it will win our Australian Grand Prix here in Division 3. And Kiwi, just a podium master this season. Another podium for Kiwi coming in T2 or in P2, and will inherit our Division 3 championship lead. Joel's going to finish P3 here to finish out our podium. Man in the box. Very nice recovery drive after struggling a couple of times in this race. Roldy with a very nice, very surprising, I'm sure for him too, a P5 for Roldy. See how many penalties he has. Let's take a look. Yeah, P3, so Stephen Alvarez finished the race with no front wing. Really close battle between Carl and Aaron Green, but they both had time penalties. Really close. Snoop Francis bringing in more solid points for Williams. The P9 finish after having 3 drive-through penalties, lose 6 drivers in a 17-grid race. Just finishing the race here is just going to get you nice points. Bay Street finishing our race here in P11. And Chonk, our race winner here in Australia. Our podium sitters, as we see, Chonk, Ogeron, and Kiwi. Top 3 for this absolutely surprising Australia race. Just so many things happening. Bizarre safety cars, bizarre people crashing out on their own, bizarre condition. It again, Chonk, race win, Bull and P, man in the box. Back, like I said, up into P4 after struggling through the middle of the race. Roldy with the P5. He's definitely going to be happy with that. Finishing in the top 10. Well, J Street just outside the top 10. Earn that fastest lap point as we move into our interviews here. All right. There's our final standings for the race. See who we have in the. So coming in third at Australia is Mr. Joel Guron. Joel, we did see you in that second safety car deciding not to pit. What were you thinking when you decided to do that?
I was trusting Jeff's comments. He said 10 minutes, and then it turned into 15, and I don't know.
Oh, so you're
Just
just kind of
didn't work.
playing for maybe stay out and pit for rain if it came quick
Yeah.
enough.
And then the next safety car came out, and then I was like, I'm already out. Might as well stay out.
Well,
But yeah, surprised on P3, despite like going to pits like 4 times.
yeah, you did pit. I mean, you had quite an adventure of a race there. So I believe this should put you back up into the fight for P1. But we actually had two of our championship contenders. We have Avira and Rigraff crashing out on their own.
Yeah, unlucky. I
So
don't know what happened, but it sucks.
next week we have Coda. So I mean, like 99% of everyone in this league are from the United States. That's not even accurate. More like 60%. But the majority. How do you what do you expect to do for Coda? How do you feel about that?
Texas sucks. Should have been Bahrain or something else.
Okay.
Tired of Coda.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview,
Just
Joel. So going on from P3. So nice race from Joel there, and moving up into P2. P2 for Australia, we have um, Kiwi, who is actually going to inherit the lead in our Division 3 championship battle after that
Oh
race.
boy.
So Kiwi, how do you feel after that one?
Definitely one of the most stressful races of my life. That rain in the end was really interesting. Kind of switched up the strategies a lot, so which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, we saw you kind of go in at the end. Did you just kind of do it in after you saw Steven Alvarez decide to pit, or were you really confident that that was the right call at that point in the race?
Yeah, Cube was engineering for Aaron and I, and we decided to pit just to cover off Alvarez, and also we had our mediums are a few laps older, so even if we decided to stay out, it would be literal hell trying to get to the finish line.
All right, so Kiwi, like I said, this is going to put you into P1 in our championship battle here. So four races to go with Coda coming up next. How do you feel going into that one?
I feel pretty good. I know I got Coda down, hopefully. But then again, we'll have to see. I am definitely a lot more confident with Coda than I am Australia, but again, we shall see.
All right, so I look forward to the rest of the season, Kiwi. Good luck on the rest of this championship tour. So congratulations on the P2 and good luck next week.
Yep, thank you.
And I believe for the first time in his ZRL career, we have Chonk sitting at the top of the podium with the race win. Chonk, how do you feel?
It feels great. It feels well deserved, you know what I'm saying? Very tricky in the last like 8 or so laps on dead mediums in mixed conditions. It's not a fun thing. I would not recommend that.
So, Chonk, when you saw the rain, did you have any idea of like, were you basically full committing to finishing the race on these tires? Would you not have any kind of idea of maybe pitting to the intermediates once you saw everyone else go in?
Not really. I had the inner set after the whatever safety car. I had inner set because it said rain in 10 minutes. And then it started raining on lap 21. But then after like lap 26, everyone started to pit. I'm like, I'm not pitting. Because if I pit, I would have been on their pace. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have that cushion of a gap. And I was able to maintain my pace. So it wasn't really that bad. But the last lap was definitely the worst. I think I lost like 4 seconds.
Yeah, right when we got to those last two laps, those intermediates finally actually took over as being the best tires. So, but you had that big gap. Yeah, I think something like 15 seconds on Kiwi, so a lot of time to work with. So next week we move on to Circuit of the Americas. How do you feel about that track?
Oh, I'm actually so bad at Coda, but I like the track a little bit.
All right. Well, congrats, man, on your race win here, dude, and we look forward to what you do next week.
Thank you.
All right. So we heard from everyone, all of our podium sitters, except for Joel, because no one wants to listen to Joel talk. But yeah, that's it for our Division 3 here at Australia, guys. We will be back next week, next Saturday. We'll be rocking Circuit of the Americas here for the final time in F123 with 4 races to go. Evie with the P2 will put him in our championship lead, so very costly race for both Rig Wrap and Avira. So we will see how the remainder of this season goes. So I look forward to that, guys. I look forward to more races with everyone. And have a good night, everyone. We'll see you guys on Saturday.